Hello.
Try again.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Raincross Farms Makery. We are being very silly this morning. Let me take this off. Please let me take this off. We are being very silly this morning, but the project we're doing today, that was kind of an over-the-top reminder that you do need to be careful about the products you use and make yourself safe. Do what you feel comfortable with. So for this project today that we're going to be doing, that I'll talk about in a second, we're going to be using an acid. So you want to really be careful and aware of what you're doing. So there might be some personal protective equipment that you want to utilize, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But for right now, let me get these off, because you definitely don't need gardening gloves. But that's what I could find. And oh, those are driving me insane. Anyway, safety first, or safety third, whatever, if you're a follower of Mike Rowe. Welcome to Raincross Farms Makery. We are glad to have you here with us. We should be sharing into Craft Round the Clock, so we welcome those of you that are watching from there.
Cindy from Idaho.
Welcome, Cindy from Idaho, and Patty. I feel like Hobo Kelly. I see Patty, and let me pull this up on my phone just so I don't have to be looking so far away. That's me. So if you're new joining us, or even if you're not, I'm still Robin, and behind the camera, behind the computer, is my husband Bill, and we call ourselves Raincross Farms Makery. We are coming to you just outside of Lewiston, Idaho, and I see two dogs in the audience in the peanut gallery. So welcome Cresta, welcome Cindy. Thanks for joining us. Pop on, say hello. If you're new, let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching live, up in the box it will say live. And if that box isn't there, you're watching the replay. We are glad to have you whenever you can watch. Just say #replay so we know you caught it after the fact. I was gonna say, oh, hello, Bill. That's you. Okay.
That's me.
Couple of housekeeping things. Those of you who are Facebook Live watchers, you know the drill. We would so appreciate it if you would like or love our page, follow our page. Again, we're at the beginning stages of this, and I've got to stop looking at the numbers. Last night before I went to bed, we had 750 followers. This morning we had 749. So I want to know who left. But we would love to have thousands and thousands of followers, so please follow our page.
And Joan from New Hampshire.
Joan or Joanne, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Thank you for sprinkling, Cindy. So, and that brings us up. If you are so inclined, please sprinkle our video to your page, to your friends who might be interested in crafts. And I got hair in my mouth. And we would so appreciate it. And another reminder, if you've been following our page, maybe you know I have some kits, DIY kits to make this cute little, kind of, can't really see it in the camera, this cute little Valentine ornament. So I've got some mini kits together where you can make this entire project. And so I have a few of those left. So if you're interested in purchasing one of those, you can type Valentine in the comments and you'll get a link to these while supplies last. Okay, let's get moving on today's project. It shouldn't take too long, but some of you may have seen, if you have watched our videos, we have done etching on glass. I've shown you how to do that. If you can kind of see that this was a little Christmas mug that we did with our Chalk Couture transfers. Gets a lot of detail. So that's all well and fine. I also showed you how you can use our ink to put a transfer on glass or metal or ceramic. which is all well and fine, but it's not always quite so permanent. So I discovered, it's not original, I didn't invent this, but I can tell you I have never seen this done with the Chalk Couture transfers. Let me see, do I have anything? Hi, Kita. Hey, Cheryl. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to show you how you can etch on stainless steel. I saw it done. I saw a video, I believe it was Jennifer Maker. She used a Cricut vinyl stencil and she etched on stainless steel, which is all well and fine, but with Cricut, you have to find the design, you have to cut it out, you have to weed it, and it's a one-time use. So I thought, I wonder if our products, if our stencils, if our transfers would work, would they hold up with the chemicals that you have to use to do this etching. So I tried it and it worked. Here's my sample. I don't know if you can see it. This is, I used a Halloween, one of our Halloween, I'm sorry, the lights are just, you can kind of see, but it worked really well. And my stencil, my transfer is in great shape. It's still sticky. The acid didn't melt it. So it worked amazing. So we're going to do a few other samples. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Talking a mile a minute. So these are the two surfaces we're going to use. I got these both from Walmart. They are uncoated stainless steel. And this is just a 20-ounce tumbler, pretty much straight sides. That will help with laying down the transfer. And then this is like a can cooler where you stick, I didn't bring a soda down. That's all right. I think you could even stick a water bottle in there too. Anyway, keeps your cans cool. I think it works with a water bottle too. Let's try it.
It's tight.
Kind of, you have to kind of get that rubber seal on there. But anyway, cool. I thought that would be fun to etch on. So let me get all these papers out. Again, I got both of these at Walmart. And I'm going to stick the, if I forget, remind me, I put the lids in my top drawer. Again, these are stainless steel. They're not coated. They also sell this kind that's got a powder coating. This technique won't work with this. So don't get if you use the powder coating, you can't use this technique. So don't get that. Put that aside. So let's get started. Let me tell you what you need. So you'll need your surface and you'll need to pick a transfer. So I picked out this one. It's called Find Your Wild. I thought you might be out taking a hike and you might want your water bottle. So I'm going to do that one on this. And then I have these are called Hello Summer Minis. So this is still available. It comes with 12 little designs. And I thought we would probably use this beach because I could picture you with your cold beverage in a can, either by the pool or at the beach. And so we'll use this little beach, that little beach transfer for this. Here, let me show you how this little puppy works because I had to figure it out. Okay, so that screws on like that and it holds your drink like that. Anyway, it keeps it cool. So, and I might want that later. Okay, any questions so far? I see people asking about Valentine's. If for some reason my bot doesn't send you a message, I will go through, because it's been temperamental lately. I will go through and I will send it to you personally after the video. Okay, the supplies that you need, you will need, this is called Ferric Chloride. It is an acid, so this is something we really need to be careful with. This is, I don't know, I haven't experienced it firsthand, but I do believe this is much more powerful than the etching cream that we've used. I do not want this on my skin. I do not want this anywhere but where I place it. So I'm going to give you some hints on how to be very careful about this. So this is Ferret Chloride. I Googled it on Home Depot and I didn't see that they had it. So I'm not sure if you can go to a store and buy it or what type of store, but I got this on Amazon. If you are interested in the Amazon link, you can type Etch in the comments. And hey, Claudia from San Francisco, you can type Etch, E-T-C-H, in the comments, and it will give you a link to the transfers that I'm using, and it will also give you an Amazon link to this stuff. So it's maybe a little pricey, but it's for a whole quart. You could etch the entire world of stainless steel with this. So you need that. You also need baking soda, very important, because the baking soda is what neutralizes the acid. You can't just dilute it with water. That won't neutralize the acid. You have to have baking soda, or what is it, bicarbonate, sodium bicarbonate, or baking soda. So you'll need that. You will need some cotton balls to apply it. Like that. And then you'll need either acetone or at the very least rubbing alcohol, because you want to make sure your surface is really clean. So you'll want some of this. This is nail polish remover, which is 100% acetone. I got it at Dollar Tree. But again, you could just use rubbing alcohol. That would work too. You may also need some painter's tape to kind of mask off the area for extra protection. You definitely will need some gloves. I use the nitrile, I don't know how you pronounce it. The nitrile gloves, because they tend to, the acid doesn't eat through them. I don't know if you just use vinyl or latex, if the acid would be too strong for that, but I had no problem with the nitrile gloves. And you'll also need a little container, disposable container, to toss out all of your dirty cotton balls and tape. So those are the supplies you need. Yes.
Do you have this listed out, all these items?
I do not have them all listed out.
So we can add that in later.
Or you can rewatch the video. But yeah, we could put together a list. If you forget and you don't want to rewatch the video, send us a message and I'll be happy to send you a list. Okay, so before I put these on, I'm going to prep my surface and get the transfers on. So this one I'm going to use, this is Find Your Wild. Our transfers are self-adhesive, reusable silkscreen transfers. And I am not going to fuzz this because I want it to stick really, really well. And it will stick really, really well because it's brand new. So I'm going to start with a cotton ball. And I'm not going to put the gloves on yet because I'm not going to use that much. And I'm just going to clean off the surface. This makes sure to remove any oils or dirt that are on that surface. Do this one too. Make sure you don't have any sticker gunk. Okay. So I got
Marie
those
from
ready.
Sun City Design says she loves your setup.
Awesome. Hey, Brittany, how are you? Okay, so Brittany, I don't know that I have never seen anybody do this. Not that I'm saying, oh, I'm so original. I just have never seen anybody do this with our transfers. And so I'm kind of excited for a new technique. So I'm going to, there's a, is it embossed? It's an embossed logo that I don't want to be visible. So I'm going to put that face down. And I'm going to take my transfer, and I'm not going to fuzz it because I really want it to stick. And I'm going to center it top to bottom. And I'm going to press really hard to make sure there's no air bubbles and to make sure that adhesive is really sticking, because I do not want this acid to bleed. because if wherever it bleeds to, it's going to etch, and that will ruin my design. So I'm pushing down really, really hard. Okay. Now I've got some painter's tape, because I don't trust myself to not accidentally smear the acid onto there. So I'm just giving myself a little extra to give my transfer just a little extra room, so if I make a goof, I'm okay. Little extra coverage. Okay, so I'm okay on the top, and I think I'm gonna put this here. Okay, so that is just to mask it off, but there is my design. It's pushed down really, really well. I didn't fuzz, so it's very sticky. Okay. Okay.
Funky going on with camera number 2. It's not going.
Okay,
so
well.
I'll just keep working with.
Okay.
Bear with me a little bit on this.
We're having technical difficulties, but hopefully you'll get some view. Okay, now I thought I was tempted to do this one that has a little trailer that says "Life is Good," but I kind of am leaning towards this little beach scene. Okay, and again, there's an embossed logo that I want to be on the opposite side. So again, I'm going to I've already kind of pre-scored these, so I can take just this little transfer off, and I'm going to center it also. Same thing, push down, make sure there's no air bubbles. Okay, I have an overhead screen on my phone.
Okay, what?
It was showing the overhead.
I know it's the old, when we were setting the cameras up, it's like it stopped working.
Okay, so I've got it where I want it. I'm going to again give myself some boo-boo protection, boo-boo insurance. Just so I don't, because this acid will etch wherever it goes. There.
I honestly have never seen boo-boo insurance.
Boo-boo insurance.
Is that a real
yes,
thing?
It is.
Are we paying for that?
Yes, it's the cost of painter's tape. A small price to pay. Okay, because I don't want to accidentally put some acid where I don't want it. Okay, so I've got these both ready. So let's get to the magic. Okay, you decide what kind of protection you need. I can do this, I'm not splashing it around, but if you are a messy crafter, you might want to wear some eye protection. I've got my glasses, so but I'm not really going to be splashing it. I definitely want to wear gloves, and I definitely recommend you wear gloves. When I did this before, I did not notice any I didn't notice any fumes or odors, but if you are very sensitive to that, you might want to use a mask or a respirator. I definitely use it in a well-ventilated area, no open flames, just to be on the safe side. And I'm going to flip my hair up just so it's out of the way. Okay. But this is my main protection, is these gloves. And I've got some paper down. And so I'm going to start with, make sure you have this. I'm going to start with a cotton ball, and I'm going to open this up. And carefully, so I'm not splashing, I'm going to soak the cotton ball and get some of that etching, that acid, and I'm going to put the lid back on just so if I spill it, It's not going to go all over. And I'm just going to dab it into that screen. Okay. I'm not rubbing, I'm just dabbing it. But I'm getting it to where those openings are. So you could see how you could do this with a Cricut stencil. You would use their, I think she recommended permanent vinyl. But then you cut it out, and then you have to kind of reverse weed. So you pull out the image and you only leave the outline, which is all well and fine, but this gives us such detail. To recreate this with a Cricut, I would have so many little pieces, and I would be going crazy with all of that weeding. So I'm gonna use these. So I've got this pushed in everywhere, and I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes. And I'm going to work on the other one. So again, I'm going to re-wet my cotton ball. Just don't get crazy when you're putting this on. And be careful where you touch with your gloves, because you could have some of the acid on there. So again, I'm just pushing that through our screen. Now, I tried this because I was concerned that this acid was so strong that it would eat our transfers, and it did not. And I cleaned up my transfers, and they are just as sticky, they are just as usable as ever. I will tell you though, our Trop Couture transfers are meant for our pastes and our inks, and they're guaranteed to be reusable 10 to 12 times, so long as you clean them up well afterwards. But I can tell you, using this will void your warranty. So again, you're big boys and girls, and you can decide. So yes, the acid is kind of a reddish orange color. It won't turn this reddish orange. It will just turn this kind of a gray. Does it ruin the stencil? I haven't tried it on anything but Trop Couture stencils, and I tried it once, and it did not ruin the stencil at all. The screen is completely intact. The stickiness came back after I washed it, but it's important to neutralize it with baking soda. So I've got that pushed in. So I'm going to set that aside. Now, I'm done with this for now, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some baking soda and pour it in my pan, and I'm going to neutralize it, because this will neutralize that acid. I don't want active acid floating around. So I'm just kind of coating that and setting it to the side, and I'm actually kind of rubbing it on my gloves. Just any acid that's on there will kind of neutralize it. Still, I'm going to be careful what I touch while I'm wearing these gloves.
You didn't add any liquid to that?
No, it's just dry baking soda, bicarbonate, sodium bicarbonate, or baking soda. You can use generic, you don't have to use that. So, but again, I do have acid on my hands, and I'm not trusting how well it's neutralized, so I'm trying not to scratch my face or pick my nose or anything while I'm still wearing these gloves.
Especially on camera.
Especially, yeah, on camera. And so I let that sit for a few minutes, and then I'm going to repeat the process.
How long should you let it sit?
About 5 minutes, maybe. I think I'm going to kind of rush the process for this, because that's kind of boring. But again, did not ruin the stencil that I tried. But I'm going to do another coat, so I have a fresh cotton ball, and I'm going to make sure this is right up against that opening, because I splashed a little bit here on my paper, but that's okay. And I'm getting some of that acid. Again, this is Ferric Chloride. I don't know where else you can get it. I got it on Amazon. I don't know if it's available in hardware stores. And I'm going to just repeat the process. I'm just dabbing it through that screen. And this is why because it's not a super runny liquid. It's thick-ish. But I don't want it to bleed through, so that's why I didn't fuzz my transfer, so that it is as stuck down on that stainless steel as you can make it. Now, yeah, this is well and fine. I have a stainless steel refrigerator. I'm just wondering what I would want on it permanently if I wanted to do something like that.
That's
And
like
I-
a
yeah,
tattoo.
and
If
that-
you do it, it's
yeah.
gotta be permanent.
Yeah, so unless you're absolutely certain you want it for the rest of your life, because there's no taking this off. But you could do appliances. So again, I'm just kind of pouncing that through the screen. And so ideally you want this left on 10 to 15 minutes to do its etching magic. And again, I'm putting the lid back on just so we don't have an earthquake and it falls over and I have acid all over my table. And I'm just pushing that through, dabbing it on. Okay, welcome, Tina. Just got here. What we are doing, for anybody who's new, I am showing you how I learned to etch on stainless steel. So we are using, this is a, and you know what? I have a drop here and I kind of rolled it in there. So be cautious. I probably needed more boo-boo insurance on here. Okay. So I'm using some stainless steel drinkware and our Chalk Couture transfers, and I'm using Ferric Chloride, and I am just dabbing it on, and it is going through the transfer and etching that design. And I'm using baking soda to neutralize the acid. So when I'm done with this cotton ball, I am sprinkling it, dousing it liberally with that baking soda, so it's mostly neutralized. Okay. Now,
Christina wants to know, how did you discover this?
I was watching a video, YouTube, I think it was a YouTube video, and I saw somebody doing this. Okay, I dribbled a little bit on my paperwork surface, but I want to neutralize that. So I'm just taking a little bit of baking soda and rubbing it on that. Okay. And then I'm rubbing this into my gloves just to neutralize anything that's on there in case if you've got acid on your gloves and then you go to pick this up, then the next time you pick it up and you don't have gloves on it, you don't want to come in contact with that acid. Okay, and again, it's the baking soda that neutralizes it. You can't just dilute it with water. It will still remain a strong acid. Okay, so I saw it on a YouTube video. I believe it was Jennifer Maker. She did it with a Cricut cut stencil, which is all well and fine. But I love the detail in our transfers, and I like that I can reuse them and I can replicate it. I could do a whole set of these for a family outing or something, and not have to cut that many Cricut stencils. Okay, so let's do how much time do I have? Let's do one more dab of it. So again, this is the third time. You want this on for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm taking a cotton ball and I'm not pouring it at all. I'm just kind of letting the cotton ball pull it in. So I'm not using very much of this at all. And I'm just taking the cotton ball and I'm dabbing it over my transfer. so that it's coming in contact through that screen onto the stainless steel. And this is just kind of moistening it, reactivating it, so that I get a good etching. When I'm done. Okay. Okay, still have enough on here. Going to push that through. You want to make sure your transfer is really stuck down. You don't want any slipping. Okay. And again, into the baking soda. Maybe pour a little more on to neutralize that acid, and put a little bit on my gloves. And wait a few seconds. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? How is everybody doing? Monday morning. Monday afternoon for some of you. Hey, Melissa, thank you for sprinkling. Okay. I love the one day one sign, but yeah, it reminds me of Debbie. Debbie Graff? Specify your Debbie. Name your Debbie. Okay. Let's see how this went. Okay. So I've left it on 10, maybe 15 minutes. Now I'm going to start peeling this off. And anything that has acid in it, I'm putting it in this dish with the baking soda. And before I completely take this off, I am going to dump baking soda over the top of it. Okay. And I'm going to kind of rub it in there, as this starts the neutralizing it. So I'm rubbing that on. You can kind of see it kind of pulls in that baking soda, and that will neutralize it. And now I'm going to carefully peel off my transfer and cross my fingers that this worked. Okay, so I don't want to peel from a corner. I want to peel from the side. And again, I didn't fuzz it, so it's really sticking. Ooh, it's looking good. Okay, now that can sit. I want to protect my transfer, so I'm going to take the sticky side and I'm going to rub some baking soda in there right away, because I don't want the acid to sit on my transfer any longer than absolutely necessary. But I've got baking soda top and bottom on this. Let me get out a drying cloth, put that down, and just for good measure, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more on here. Okay, so more baking soda just in case. And I'm going to rub it in. And what I'm left with is etched onto my stainless steel. Whatever was in that transfer, I'm gonna give it a wash down too, but you can kind of see. Sorry for the glare of the lights, but you can see it's etched on. It is not going to come off. It's not going to wash off. You can scratch it, but you won't scratch it off. Okay, so let me take off this one. So again, baking soda. I want to keep calling it powdered sugar. It's not powdered sugar, it's baking soda. So I'm just kind of massaging that in to neutralize the acid. So if you don't neutralize it, do not pour this down your drain. I am told it will eat your pipes.
It will.
It is actually a copper etchant. It's meant to etch copper. So you could do the same process on copper. I just don't have access to copper tumblers. Okay, so I'm going to peel off my tape. It's all going to go in here. Oh, and I can see I didn't have enough boo-boo insurance. But that's okay. You need to see that. I can see I kind of have some etching where I didn't really want it. Okay. So again, peel that off. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to take care of my transfer first. Rub that in to stop. How are we doing on time? Good.
I got some.
Rub that in. Okay. And you can kind of see I have some bleeding over here on the outside of that. So I probably didn't seal down my painter's tape well enough, or I got too heavy-handed with the acid. But it's still, you get the idea. So that's your warning for you to be more careful. Okay, so I'm just gonna dump baking soda. This stuff is cheap. It's like $1. Okay, I'm just gonna dump some of that on there and set that aside. And I'm going to get, I would normally go to my sink. So I'm bringing my sink to you. This is just soapy water. So I'm just rinsing that off. Now, if I hadn't already neutralized that acid, I would have active acid in this water. And there we have it. Okay. All of those details, all of those little stars are showing up. And this is just wiping off that baking soda. I'm not doing this to neutralize the acid. I'm just doing that to clean off this surface.
And you just put your stencils in there too?
No, I'm just going to clean my stencils with water. I don't want any added chemicals on my stencils. So I have neutralized the acid. So let me show you these. Okay. Let me see if I can get there. Well, okay, go overhead. Okay. So again, you can see that transfer came out awesome. And then here's my boo-boos down here and up here. So don't do that. Note to self. Okay. And then here's this one. This one I didn't make a boo-boo. It's got some water drops on it still. But I have that transfer. It's etched in there. It's kind of it's a silver. This one kind of came out grayish, but it could be a different quality of stainless steel. But awesome.
Can you actually feel that with your fingers?
No, it doesn't feel indented, so it didn't like etch deep. It just slightly etched the top. You can't feel it. There's no. Okay, so let me clean these up. So I'm going to use my board eraser, and I'm going to dip it in just some plain water. And just like I normally clean them, I'm just going to get this off. I've neutralized that acid. I'm just going to get it off of the screen. The board eraser works really well for that. So front and back. Get that off. Again, I liberally doused, I can't say that enough. I liberally doused it with baking soda. And and cleaning these stencils so it did not eat through the screen, and they clean up really well. It does kind of discolor the screen a bit. That's okay. A lot of our pastes do that also. So again, if you are interested in either the transfers that I used for this project or an Amazon link, we are Amazon associates, so if you use our link, we will actually get a few pennies. Actually get a few pennies from your purchase. And I can feel there is still some baking soda stuck on here, so I'm cleaning the sticky side really, really well till it cleans up. There we go. And when these dry, they will be just as sticky as before. And you put them back on your backer sheet and you can do some more etching. So that's how to clean them up. And I can take these off. So what did I finish my sentence? Okay, I'm going to stick these also in that tray with all the baking soda. I'm going to stick this, I'm going to like double bag this, and I'm going to put this in the trash. It should all be neutralized, so it should not cause any problems, but I am going to trash it in a bag for extra protection. And those come out nice. I like those. So a new technique. So be thinking about what you could use this for. Oh, up early for dentist appointments. And they, oh no, don't you hate it when you have a free day? Well, not a free day. You have a holiday and you make some plans and then that falls apart. I'm sorry about that. Okay, yes, Grandma. Oh, oh yes. Okay, so etching on stainless steel. Some cautions, but very doable. Is anybody frightened by the process? Hopefully not. Just wear your gloves, be careful, slow down, use your boo-boo insurance, use it a little better than I did, and you can etch some designs on stainless steel. Make great gifts, decor for your own home. Think of stainless steel objects that you could be. In my house, if it doesn't move, it gets chalked on or inked on or now it gets etched on.
That's what keeps me moving.
And sometimes even when it does move, we do it. Okay, so I am down to just a couple minutes. So if you're interested, again, in the transfers or a link to the Ferret Chloride that I used, you can type Etch in the comments. And okay, thank you for oh, you are welcome. That's how I learned. I saw somebody do it. So feel free to go back and watch the replay if you want to see how to do it. Feel free to Google it, look on YouTube for stainless steel etching. There's also a way you can do it with salt water, but I liked this way. The other way looked a little too science experimenty. So turned out great, and it did not hurt our transfers. Again, probably voided the warranty, but if it doesn't cause a problem, it doesn't matter. What Chalk Couture doesn't know, they don't know. So live dangerously, and it worked. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much for hanging with us again. Thanks for liking our page, for following us. And if you like this video, you know somebody who might be interested, feel free to share it out. And thanks so much. And we're also on YouTube, so click that link and check us out there. But have a great rest of your week, and we will see you. I think we'll be back on tomorrow night. So join us then for another fun craft project. Thanks again. Love you guys. It's been nice chalking with you, or it's been nice etching with you. Bye-bye.